Hi, my name's John Wright. I'm sitting here this evening watching wrestling. It's nice that Vince McMahon is now gone, along with Donald Trump. And I'll tell you what is now gone, and even in wrestling, they're getting a little more. It looks like they're cleaning up wrestling. It really does. It's entertainment, yes, but the poor sportsmanship that they were actually doing in the past, I hope it's coming to an end, because I could see right now they're trying to put it on the level where they're cleaning it up a little bit. And Vince McMahon has lost the scene, has left the scene, lost the scene, just like Donald Trump, because you know what? Donald Trump and Vince McMahon is kind of like two of a kind. They got in bed together, and look how Vince McMahon has got in trouble over his antics, as well as Donald Trump has. And now that's an end of the career, not only for Vince McMahon, but for Donald Trump as well. You see, two of a kind just flocked together, and now we're getting rid of them. And now we're getting rid of not just them, but this poor attitude from coast to coast, from sea to shiny sea, is what I am seeing. Matter of fact, even this evening, today I posted a video because there's somebody right outside my way out there with an automatic eye level, putting up a tripod right here where they could see right inside my building. And you know what? I took the curtains off my place because they wanted to look in here and get after me. Why? So I'd get after them and I'd find out what was happening in Morton, Washington, with this Lebanese or Syrian family that's in Morton, Washington. That's been, what are they there for? Are they being held hostage too in that town? Is this all just one big game where the pimple finally had to be pushed up and popped over there in the Middle East? And Donald Trump is now finaled out of here, because that's what I'm looking at and that's what I'm seeing. And I've got some kind of a fly right here or something, and I'll just fucking kill it if I can, because that's just the way I am. If I see a problem, I just go after it. And like that person that was out here today, setting up that tripod out here in front of the house, they're out here tapping the road with their foot. They start tapping on their fucking watch like I tap onto those people when they're sitting across the street. So if they like to do that, I think this may be the same guy that was out there the other day. If he's out there and doing that and tapping on the street and stuff, boy, I tell you, today when he seen me sitting in my fucking front room, he didn't know I was sitting in a chair while he was doing that, and I stood up, and I think I was wearing this, matter of fact, and he got the fucking idea. And then I walked out there and I took a good goddamn look at his signage and stuff. He had no signage. They're on notice around here, and also, instead of, if somebody's in trouble down the street, they're not blowing their fucking signs and horns off around my house constantly, and that's what they were doing too. The law enforcement community, text messaging, the ambulance services and everything like that, they're all connected to harassment of the neighbors and stuff. And just because little Donald Trump's having a goddamn heart attack, or Vince McMahon, that doesn't mean it gives these people the right to act out like that at all. Matter of fact, if they want to continue with their jobs and they have an attitude, and what I'm saying is striking something to them, if you feel any anger at me whatsoever because I'm pointing out the truth, you need to check in and get some help. You know what? They have some good helpers right there on YouTube. You just look up narcissism. And matter of fact, I was going to look up a couple other places on there and actually post it, because this is something that really needs to be an issue that needs to be done. Now, you take a look at this wrestling again.
Right to the side of the ear of Elton Prince. Great balance displayed by Dunn. And a matching kick for Kit Wilson. Cruz del Toro caught in the grips.
Dunn might do this one all on his own.
Sometimes I see stuff that should not be performed on wrestling. This is entertainment, correct? So this here is really pretty much choreographed entertainment. So saying that and saying that alone, do we need to choreograph entertainment? Yeah, now this is a big one. I know this is going to cross someone's mind. What? He wants to take away wrestling along with toy guns away from them at Walmart? Hell yeah, I want those goddamn toy guns taken away out of Walmart. That threatens people. Buy a child a toy gun so he can walk around and threaten the rest of the family with it, knowing that, you know, his dad bought that. You're not going to take that goddamn gun away from my son. You know, bullshit. He's going to grow up and he's going to be a mean little man someday. And that guy's going to go, now he's going to get even on the world for me. And just because, you know, this guy had a problem doesn't mean I'm raising somebody up to go after someone else. And I didn't do that. And Matt Wright knows that, my son, or the boy that I raised anyway. I can't say he's my son because it don't even say so on the birth certificate. But the woman tried to get me for child support. And when she couldn't get me for child support, she decided to give me the child. You know, and hey, that there opens up a can of worms on its own. I think women should have the right to seek counseling. They should have the right to have an abortion. And they should have the right not to have the fucking male population come down on them. And a bunch of abusers that just want to put a lid on them and hold them down, and they're never going to get out of it. And goddamn, you're going to fucking, you know, till death do you part. Bullshit. And that's bullshit. Get them to do an oath when the guy never decided he was going to really keep the oath. That is just one big goddamn joke to me. You know, that should be something that's supposed to be solemn. A human. Yeah, a human. They turn into a human, and they're supposed to be a being, and they're supposed to love each other, honor, cherish, and that doesn't mean they're supposed to aid each other in crimes, or one person's going to say, you're going to be my goddamn alibi no matter what you fucking think, and browbeat them and stuff behind closed doors and abuse them to do such, and then pregnate them, and you're never getting away from me because these children are going to be connected to you, bitch. You know, that's what they do, and that's the mentality of it. And anyway, I'd like to see better sportsmanship. And better sportsmanship starts right at the law enforcement officers too. You know, better sportsmanship. It just goes up and it goes down from any level you think you are. If you think you're at the top of the list and you're the law enforcement officers, you should just put yourself right in the center of it, because you may have families too. At people's attitudes relax, and may relax your attitudes to have your own, you know, thing upon your own family. I mean, the worst thing is a law enforcement officer telling me, okay, I'll tell you this story. There was a truck on fire on the way down the hill, and I fucking already seen the truck on fire, and I fucking was running to get fucking goddamn help. And I was running down the road, and fucking all of a sudden a state patrol fucking come run right into me, and he pulled me over. And I said, there's a fire up the goddamn road up there. And he says, yeah, and you don't fucking be driving like this. And I said, are you giving me a ticket? He says, fuck no. He says, I live right up here. He says, I don't want you to fucking come after me. And I said, well, there's a fire up the fucking road, and it's on fire right now. And he says, well, I gotta get the fuck up there. And I said, well, get the fuck up there. You know, but I'm telling you that the last thing the law enforcement officer says, I live right here. I don't want you to fucking come after me. And he knows that I'm the goddamn guy that will come after him. Why? For one, I fucking drive fast to get to a fucking phone to call help for somebody. You know, I know what would need to be taken care of, and I fucking told that officer right on the spot what the fuck I was doing. And so he got the fuck out of there, he went and did his job, and I tell you guys, you do the same goddamn thing. When you get up, you see something fucking wrong, you fucking fix it. You don't leave it for somebody else to fucking do. You eliminate your fucking problems on a daily fucking basis, starting in your own home. You know what? Don't get on someone else's ass. You better go look in the goddamn mirror. And attitudes start right at the fucking breakfast table. And if you're not eating at the breakfast table with your family, what's going on? Maybe you should. Maybe you should get reconnected and say hello to your family, because you know what? Your family might just be scared of you walking on eggshells around you. I could just imagine what Donald Trump's family's like, walking around on eggshells around Donald Trump. You know, my family acted like they were walking on eggshells around me because they didn't want me to catch on to what the fuck was going on. And now I have found out what was going on. My dad was the legendary hijacker, and they've been forced to comply. And maybe some of them went along with it because, hell, there was nothing else they could do about it. As long as we were okay, hell, we didn't give a fuck, you know, attitude. Maybe that's what was it. I don't know for sure. But I sure do know on my part, I wouldn't have fucking put up with it one goddamn day if I found out about it, and I did. Thank you very much. My name's John Thomas Wright. I'm from Washington State. I live on Delphi and Alpine and Delphi Street. There's a fire hall right across the street that people like to sit there and harass from. They think that it's their goddamn parking lot. There's a sign there that says, "Do not park," and they still park. Why don't they just open up their eyes and take a CNI test?